Man United host Sunderland this weekend here on Let's Talk Tactics. Excited to chat about this game. If you must, give me some credit about last week. Come on, I know you don't want to continue to build the confidence of the already cocky Scottish guy, but I did hit a few points on the head when it came to Southampton. Let's see if I can do it again this week on some Let's Talk Tactics. There were a few changes against Ipswich. We've seen Ashley Young come into left back. I actually quite enjoyed seeing him there. We've seen Valencia play at right back. Darmian, of course, came off in the last game against Southampton. Valencia coming in. I think Darmian is a good fullback. I just think at times he does get caught out with a lapse in concentration. But nonetheless, I think he might still come back into the team this week. So this is how I imagine they will line up. And I'm going to make a couple of points on why I would like this to happen. So De Gea, Blind, Smalling, Young, I would like to see him back in there because Sunderland at the bottom of the table, rooted at the bottom. At home, we should not be going conservative here. They should be going in with the idea to just pin Sunderland back. And Young is a good attacking fullback. He's not exactly a good defender as of yet, but still, I think that Manchester United should not be worrying so much about Sunderland, but taking this game to them. Darmian at right back, Schweinsteiger, Herrera, we'll talk about that in a minute. Memphis, Rooney, Mata and Martial, who will be devastating up top. So I've studied Sunderland more so than I have studied what Manchester United need to do to prevent Sunderland in their attack, because Sunderland, I think, they haven't found what works for them. Defoe makes these good diagonal runs sometimes that are a little bit hard to track, and he still has that instinct striker's finish. Like Defoe's getting on a little bit, he's not as effective as he once was, but you give him some room and he can punish you. And I think that what Sunderland will try to do is simply try to, I would say, emulate what Southampton did in the very first few minutes, which I talked about last game, and that is weak side attacking, getting down one side, specifically exploiting an area where Man United aren't strong enough, whereas I think Young coming in at fullback, that could be an area that they will try to exploit. If they play Rojo, if he's back fit, then I think they'll be a little safer in that. But I want to talk about an attacking sense, and I'm going to be pretty brief but pretty straightforward about what Manchester United need to do to beat Sunderland. So I noticed against Tottenham, when Sunderland played them a few weeks back, they concede goals because they don't track midfield runners. And the reason why they've switched it up, they've had Rodwell and Villa in there, and both of them just don't work in sync. And then at the back, the centre-backs, whether it's Shea, Coates, or even Kabul, they're not the quickest, and the reason why they're not all in sync. So what happened against Tottenham for Sunderland in their example was, it was Mason, and it was the start of the season. He started his move in his own box. He literally just knocked it in and out, and Mason just continued this run for Tottenham. If you remember this goal, it is a couple of weeks back when they beat them 1-0, but this is exactly what United should do, and that is why I think Herrera should be playing in this kind of central midfield role in this game. So what happens is the striker picked up the ball for Tottenham, and Mason just floated in behind. None of these hold midfielders in Sunderland's 4-2-3-1 picked him up. They just decided to let him wander, and he wandered right in the back and ended up putting the ball into the back of the net. This happened exactly as that did against Man City in the Carling Cup when they lost 4-1. Man City continued to have midfield runners streaming. They gave them so much space. There was at one point, I think it was Manchester City's fourth goal, where Sunderland were literally pinned in their own box. The two holding midfielders, there's a massive gap right here. They didn't pick up any runners, and I think that Rodwell looks off the pace, doesn't look quick, and Villa as well, he dives in way too much. This is exactly what Manchester United need to exploit. They're bottom of the table. There should be no excuse for a slip-up here. It should be a comfortable 2-0, could even go on to be a 3 or 4-0 victory if Manchester United keep the concentration at the back and move the ball well. So as I mentioned, I want Herrera in that role, because Wayne Rooney playing in here, they're going to understand that Wayne Rooney can drop deep. He can drag people like Rodwell out and Villa out. Whoever they play in holding midfielder, I don't think can handle Wayne Rooney in there, because he does play very well when he drops deep, links up play. This will allow for Herrera to make these runs and continue, because Herrera is very good in the hole at picking up the ball at the edge of the box and playing some 1-2s. So imagine how good he can be if he starts off a little deeper, as he did in the Carling Cup midweek. I understand we have Schneiderlin, we have Schweinsteiger, we have Carrick, but if you play Schweinsteiger in there, he can sit a little bit deeper. We don't have to worry so much about Sunderland attacking as much as we have done in previous games. But if you play Schweinsteiger in this role, this allows for Herrera to stem up. Martial, as we know, will take them right into their own box, because he loves to kind of play on the last man, and he's very quick. So Sunderland automatically will drop into their own box, scared of Martial, and Herrera can just make these looping runs in behind. And trust me, there will be space in here for Memphis, Rooney and Mata to all interchange. And it sounds so simple, but if you watch Sunderland, trust me, in the first few minutes, it all depends on how far Man United can push them back. Push them back into their own box. That gap between their centre-backs and the defensive midfielders will open up. And even if it doesn't open up, draw them out. I watched O'Shea, specifically in the game before Manchester City for Sunderland. I had this planned in my head ahead of time. I like to try and plan to make sure that I don't slip up. And who I'm talking about, Manchester United fans know O'Shea from their time. He's not the quickest. He's a good professional. He does his job, but if he starts, and even if Kabul or Coach start, they dive in. They're not the quickest either. So if Martial's playing right on them, they'll be worried and they'll push right into their box, and this will leave a lot of space in there. Put your house on it that either Mata or Herrera will score in this game, if Herrera starts, that is. I would put everything on it because I think that he'll pick up the ball in and around that 18-yard box and exploit the fact that the holding midfielders do not track the runs. And if they are focusing on these holding midfielders tracking the runs, what does Manchester United then have to do? Exactly what they did for that unbelievable goal Juan Mata put in the back of net. Build up play slowly. Draw their team slowly out to you before you start moving the ball in behind. And Manchester United were patient. They allowed Memphis to pick up the ball in wide areas and does what he does best, where he cuts into this gap. And therefore, holding midfielders don't know who to track. They don't know if they're going to track Memphis, and that leaves Wayne Rooney in here. They don't know whether they're going to track Rooney, and that allows for Herrera to stem in behind. It's all about interchanging that movement, and it's about creating those gaps in between the centre-backs and the holding midfielders. It's simple this week. If there's not a victory there's something clearly wrong. This, I don't think, can be a banana peel. Every game in the Premier League is a banana peel, but to play against a team that are bottom of the table, just lost 4-1 to our close rivals, there's no excuse here, guys. It has to be a victory at Old Trafford. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I will try my best to interact. Make sure to come over here to TYT Sports, check out more tactical videos talking about Man City and Tottenham this week. And as always, stay tuned for more Let's Talk Tactics.